Prabhupada ki jai, jai Smrata Pramandra Vichari Siddhara Sadasi Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Puti Vaishnavindi ki jai, Namacharya Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vigrahara Shri Go Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Govinda Shyam Dam ki jai, Mathura Dam ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Yamun Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai. Hare Nam Yajna. Go Premananda Hari Bol, glorious seven devotees, glorious seven devotees, glorious seven devotees, glorious cease you don't see them. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. No battery. It has no battery. No battery. I give you here, you need the key. Okay. So, Yanastvam karma sadhanam sadhanam griyamedinam javan asito marsham priyam tavamasitam Yanastvam karma nasandanam sadhanam griyamedinam javan asito marsham priyam tavamasitam Yanastvam karma sadhanam sadhanam griyamedinam Vitavan asidur masham viprayam tavamarsitam. Yes. Yanastvam karma sadhanam sadhanam griyamedinam Ladies. Yat.
यद्यपि पत्नी तथा बच्चों के साथ रह रहे उत्पन्न किया है असह्य विप्रियम तुम्हारा मर्सितम
Although life and household life is wife and children, I honestly follow the Vedic injunctions by engaging in fruitive activities to enjoy life without sinful reactions. I performed all kinds of yagyas, including Deva Yagya, Rishi Yagya, Pitri Yagya, and Nri Yagya. Because these yagyas are called vratas, vow, I'm known as Grihavata. Unfortunately, you have given me great displeasure by guiding my sons for no reason to the path of renunciation. This can be tolerated once.
यद्यपि मैं अपनी पत्नी तथा बच्चों के साथ गृहस्थ जीवन में रहता हूँ, किंतु मैं पाप फलों में रहित जीवन का आनंद भोगने के लिए सकाम कर्म में लगकर वैदिक आदेशों का ईमानदारी के साथ पालन करता हूँ। मैंने सभी प्रकार के यज्ञ संपन्न किए हैं, जिनमें देव यज्ञ, ऋषि यज्ञ, पितृ यज्ञ तथा नील यज्ञ सम्मिलित है। क्योंकि ये यज्ञ व्रत कहलाते हैं, इसलिए मैं गृह व्रत कहलाता हूँ। दुर्भाग्यवश तुमने मेरे पुत्रों को अकारण ही वैराग्य के मार्ग में गुमराह करके मुझे अत्यधिक दुख पहुंचाया है। इसे एक बार तो सहन किया जा सकता है। तात्पर्य, प्रजापति दक्ष यह सिद्ध करना चाहते थे कि वे अत्यंत सहिष्णु बने रहे, क्योंकि उन्होंने नारद मुनि से तब कुछ नहीं कहा जब उन्होंने अकारण ही उनके 10,000 अबोध पुत्रों को वैराग्य मार्ग अपनाने के लिए बुला दिया था। कभी कभी गृहस्थों को गृहमेधी होने का दोषी ठहराया जाता है, क्योंकि गृहमेधी बिना आध्यात्मिक उन्नति के पारिवारिक जीवन से खुश रहते हैं, किंतु गृहस्थ तो इससे भिन्न होते हैं, क्योंकि वे अपनी पत्नियों तथा बच्चों के साथ गृहस्थ जीवन तो बिताते हैं, किंतु आध्यात्मिक उन्नति के लिए उत्सुक रहते हैं। यह सिद्ध करना चाहते हुए कि वे नारद मुनि के प्रति उदार रहे हैं, प्रजापति दक्ष ने बलपूर्वक कहा, जब नारद ने उनके पहले वाले पुत्रों को गुमराह किया तो उन्होंने कोई कार्यवाही नहीं की थी। वे दयालु तथा सहिष्णु बने रहे, किंतु वे दुखी थे क्योंकि नारद मुनि ने दोबारा उनके पुत्रों को गुमराह किया। इसलिए वे यह सिद्ध कर चाहते थे कि यद्यपि नारद साधु का सा वेश बनाए रहते हैं, किंतु वास्तव में वे साधु नहीं है, बल्कि गृहस्थ होते हुए वे स्वयं नारद मुनि से बड़े साधु हैं।
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदमयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सगजातं सागनं रघुनाथं तं सजीवं तद्वैतं स्वदूतपरिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहागना ललिता श्रीकृष्णकमितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिके कांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणम्यन्ति पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपसिन्धुभ्यश्च पातितं पावनी वैष्णवी कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौरभक्त। So, I read the verse, although I live in household life as wife and children, I honestly follow the Vedic injunctions by engaging in fruitive activities to enjoy life without sinful reactions. I performed all kinds of yagyas, including Deva Rata, Rishi Rata, Pitri Yagya, and Nri Yagya. Because these yagyas are called vratas, vows, I'm known as Grihavata. Unfortunately, have given me great displeasure by misguiding my sons. For no reason to the path of renunciation, this can be tolerated once. So here Prabhupada points out that first of all there's a difference between grihastas and grihamedis. Griyamedis are the householders in the material world.
जो ग्रह में है, वो गृहस्थ है इस संसार के, भौतिक संसार के।
Like people make elaborate arrangements.
यहाँ पर बहुत बड़े-बड़े आयोजन करते हैं।
You see these big buildings here on this side.
आपने देखा तो यहाँ पर बहुत बड़े बिल्डिंग्स हैं।
What is it all about?
वो किस लिए है?
Money and sex.
वो केवल धन और यौन सुख के लिए है।
Every one of these little apartments is a sex station.
तो यहाँ जो भी घर दिख रहा है, वो सब यौन सुख के लिए बनाए गए।
100%. That's the whole purpose of the whole thing.
यही उसका कारण है, इस सब बिल्डिंग का।
The day people work, at night there's sex.
वो लोग दिन में काम करते हैं और रात में जाकर के ये यौन सुख को भोगते हैं।
365 days a year.
365 दिन साल के।
So it's very difficult in that situation to make any kind of spiritual advancement.
तो ऐसे लोगों के लिए आध्यात्मिक उन्नति करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है।
Then on the other side you have grihastas.
और दूसरी तरफ हम गृहस्थों को देखते हैं।
Prabhupada explains here as a definition, those they're eager, here it is, they're eager for spiritual advancement.
तो प्रभुपाद यहाँ गृहस्थों के बारे में व्याख्या कर रहे हैं कि जो लोग आध्यात्मिक उन्नति के लिए बहुत उत्सुक हैं।
They may not be on the perfect platform, but they are on the way. And as such, they should be respected.
इसलिए उनका सम्मान करना चाहिए।
One time there was a devotee in, I think it was New York, I'm not sure, and he criticized one young devotee.
तो एक बार एक भक्त था और उसने एक नौसिक भक्ता की।
And Prabhupada said, and still he's a devotee. Prabhupada said, he's still a devotee.
तो प्रभुपाद ने कहा कि वो भक्त है।
He may have still imperfections,
उसके अंदर कुछ कमियां हो सकती हैं।
but it is like buying a green mango.
लेकिन वो एक हरा आम के समान है।
Green mango is not very tasty.
तो हरा आम जो आम है, वो बहुत टेस्टी होता है।
You can use it for making chutney. That's what
आप चटनी में आप करिए।
you can use green mango. But otherwise, it's not very tasty. Otherwise, it is not very tasty.
और ज़्यादा टेस्टी नहीं होता है।
Prabhupada said, if you give this green mango some time, then in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5, it will be very sweet mango.
तो ये जो कच्चा आम है, ये 3-4 हफ्तों में पक करके बहुत मीठा हो जाएगा।
So in the same way, devotees,
उसी प्रकार भक्त लोग,
when they come to Krishna consciousness, they're like green mango.
तो जब वो भक्ति में आते हैं, तो वो कच्चे आम के समान है।
And we should still respect them because anybody who chants the holy name, Lord Chaitanya said, is a devotee.
लेकिन हमें उसका आदर करना है कि कोई भी अगर हरिनाम कर सकता है, तो कितना भक्त है।
And in due course of time, they will be perfect.
और कुछ समय में वो सिद्ध हो जाएंगे।
I think I told you or not told you. When I was a young devotee, there was one, he went on Sankirtan.
तो जब चौधरी साहब बता रहे हैं, तो बहुत नए
And while taking our breakfast in the van, where 2 people were sitting in front,
तो जब लोग वैन में अपना ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहे थे, तो 2 लोग सामने बैठे हुए थे
I had to go to the bathroom.
और दोनों के पास जाना था,
Small.
छोटा सा।
You call it number 2 or number 1? Huh? 1?
नंबर
1? Yes? 1.
1
So I had to go for 1. And there was a bush in front of the car, not far away, like your distance here.
तो पास
No toilet anywhere.
और बाकी सब टॉयलेट यूज करेंगे।
So I did number 1.
तो चौधरी ने नंबर 1 कर दिया।
There was no water, but it had rained.
वहाँ पर तो ऐसे पानी की सुविधा नहीं थी।
So I went to the side and washed my hands in the rain, in the grass,
तो चौधरी ने जाकर के घास पर अपना हाथ को साफ किया।
and I put it in my hair.
लगा दिया।
Now this young bhakta,
Young?
young bhakta beside me, young devotee, very enthusiastic,
वो बहुत
and a good follower also.
और वो अच्छा फॉलो करने लगे।
So he saw what I was doing, namely number.
तो उन्होंने देखा प्रभु ने क्या किया।
So he went for number.
वो भी नंबर 1 पे गए।
And so after having finished, he took the urine and put it into a seeker.
वो करने के बाद जो टॉर्च किया था उसी को जलाकर किसी को लगा लिया
Nobody in all of India would do that.
कोई भारत में ऐसा नहीं करेगा
Maybe Adivasi,
जो आदिवासी लोग ऐसा कर सकते हैं
some mountain people.
या जो लोग हिल माउंटेन में रहते हैं
Mountain people, they are not very clean.
तो ज्यादा नहीं रहते
And I've been traveling in the mountains in the Himalayas and also in, what is it called, Ladakh.
तो जो सारे वो भी ऐसे लगा जो माउंटेन वहाँ पर वो
And I tell you, simply by the nose, you can tell they're not very clean.
आप केवल अपने नाम क्या समझ सकते हो
So anyway, but still this boy was a devotee, and in due course of time, he became a very good book distributor and a very good devotee.
तो लेकिन कुछ समय बाद प्रभु बता रहे हैं कि वो भक्त बहुत अच्छा भक्त बन गया और बहुत अच्छा
So why criticizing him unnecessarily?
तो उनको क्यों उनको भक्ता करना उनकी निंदा करना
If a devotee, young devotee, does something wrong, we should not criticize.
इसलिए जब कोई नया भक्त गलती करता है तो हमें उसका निंदा नहीं करना
That doesn't mean we won't say anything,
इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम उसे कुछ बताएं नहीं
but in a diplomatic way.
लेकिन उसको एक तरीके से बताना चाहिए
For example, when I'm a bhakta leader, and I use this all the time. When I was a bhakta leader, I used to do this all the time.
हाँ तो जब भक्त लीडर थे तब उस समय इन बातों को ध्यान में रखते
You have bhakta leader here? Who's in charge for young devotees? You.
थे
So if you see a young devotee doing something like this,
तो अगर आप देखते हैं कभी कोई नया भक्त ऐसा कर रहा है
say he's going to the bathroom with his feet back,
मान लो बाथरूम जा रहा है अपने बीवी के साथ
what's the worst thing to say?
तो सबसे गलत चीज क्या हो सकती है
In front of everybody. Why are you taking your bees back to the bathroom, you fool?
तो हम लोग आपको सिखा सकते हैं क्या करना है कैसे क्या बाथरूम
He will be very much hurt if you chastise him in front of everybody. So what I used to do, I had a little booklet, and I would write down Bhakti Burfi took his beats on the toilet. So I would say that Bhakti Burfi went to the toilet with his beat back in my book. Then I in class, sometimes in the Bhakta class, or when there was an opportunity with other devotees, I would say sometimes a devotee I've seen takes his beat back on the bathroom. He was there. He knew exactly that I was talking about him, but he was not offended. Because when people come from the material world, they have a big ego. So when you see there's something wrong, you have to be very careful. Behind the closed door or in a gentle way like I did in this example. But the main thing is that devotees should always be encouraged. That is the main thing. They should always be encouraged in their service. Even if they do something little, they should always say, this is very good, you did this very nice. We should not criticize a devotee in public. In fact, not at all. It should be just told in a private way or in a gentle way. Don't do that. There has to be love and trust between the devotees. One time, Srila Prabhupada, I told this story many times, came to Germany, and I was in charge for this festival. So I had a magnetic board. Yeah. Like you can put little signs on a fridge. Fridge is metal, and then a real board based on magnetic. So instead of putting little things on the fridge, people do, they have little things they put on the fridge, on the door. So I had a magnetic board. All the devotees were there. There were little strips, magnetic strips, and here was Bhakta Burf, he was such and such. Devi Dadi, there was such and such.
तो प्रभु ने बताया उनके पास एक मैग्नेटिक बोर्ड था जिसमें हम लोग भक्तों के नाम ले लेते थे।
So in this way, I could see with one look where everybody was, what was the engagement of everybody.
तो प्रभु जी एक बार मुझे पता चला कि उस बोर्ड में कौन भक्त क्या कर रहा है।
So I felt there was somebody breathing behind my back.
तो प्रभु जी को लगा कि कोई मेरे पीछे से देख रहा है।
Looked around, it was Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, please accept my obeisance. So he said, so, what is that? I said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm managing this temple, and here on this board, I can see every single devotee and what he is doing. He said, so what do you do? I said, I can take this devotee from the daily department into the kitchen, and that devotee from the kitchen onto Harinam, and that devotee from Harinam into the kitchen, etc. German management. And so Prabhupada said, how does it work? I said, it's magnetic board. Prabhupada said, can I do that? I said, sure, Srila Prabhupada. Said, all right, let's take this devotee from here to there. They take this devotee from here, from this place, to that place. This devotee from Harinam to the book distribution. And this devotee from packing the books and cleaning the house into this department. Prabhupada enjoyed doing that, managing. And then he turned to me. Here's the boss. He turned to me, and all this will fail. There is no love and trust in you. Very important lesson. Nice Vaishnava relationships. So now, here it is described, most people, they are Grihamedis. And then they're Grihastas, they're on the way to Krishna. And so even Daksha, he was not a Grihamedi, but he was a Grihasta. But I don't say that, but Shastra says, Yatvindra Gopamatavendra Muhusva Karma Bandhan Rupabalabhadavatanoti. Karma Dimeratu Kintu Sabhakti Pacham. Even Lord of Indra, from Lord Indra down to the insignificant end, they're all under the law of karma. So, it's not up to me to say that, but Brahma said it. Not up to me to say that. Who am I to talk about the God of the heaven like that? But Brahma says. So you have Grihamedis who are outright materialists, and you have people who are on the way, Grihastas, and who try to go towards Krishna, try to become purified from material entanglement. And so in this bracket there's Lord Indra. Actually, he should have been delighted that his sons are led to Krishna consciousness. But he was definitely still governed by I, me and mine. So at the second event, he was fed up and he became very angry. So this is the situation for people who are still in the material world.
ये भौतिक संसार के लोगों की यही धारणा होती है।
There's a very nice verse in this regard
इसके विषय में बहुत सुंदर श्लोक है
that I want to show you. Give me a second. Very important verse. Okay, here we go. Tavat ragara yastenas, tavat kara griham, tavan mohon nigado, yavat Krishna nate janaha. My dear Lord, until people become devotees, until they become devotees, their material attachment and desires are like thieves. Their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for family members remain foot shackles. And their affectionate feelings for their family members, such as children, remain like foot shackles. It's a very important verse. But note, the important point is here, until people become devotees. When they become devotees, it is a completely different thing. Because a devotee, when his house is not Grihastha ashram, it is the house of Krishna. And there he offers food to Krishna. And there he raises family children. It is a bhakta program. It is not material family life. It's a bhakta program. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a householder. Manasa Deo, my mind, Manasa Deo, my body, Manasa Deo, Geo, my Grihastha ashram, whatever, Manasa Deo, Yogi Tramo, whatever I have. Arapilon Tua Pare, I offer to your lotus feet, Nanda Kishore. So Prabhupada said, listen very carefully, my dear devotees. Come.
तो प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे हैं एवरी इंग्लिश में apparently the residents of Vrindavan, the abode of Lord Krishna, are simple householders engaged in ordinary affairs such as herding cows, cooking, rearing children, performing religious ceremonies. तो हम देख सकते हैं कि वृंदावन के जो वासी हैं वो एक साधारण गृहस्थ के समान है, साधारण जो घर में रहते हैं वैसे लोग हैं जो सामान्य काम में जुड़े हुए, जैसे गाय चराना, खाना बनाना और अपने बच्चों को पालन करना और कुछ धार्मिक कार्यक्रम करना. However, all these activities are intensely engaged in the loving service of Krishna. किंतु ये सारे जो सामान्य कार्य हैं वो भगवान कृष्ण की सेवा के लिए की जा रही है. The residents of Vrindavan perform all activities in pure Krishna consciousness and thus exist on the most exalted platform of liberated life. तो जो ये वृंदावन वासी हैं ये सारे कार्य शुद्ध भक्ति शुद्ध कृष्ण चेतना में कर रहे हैं, इसीलिए वो एक मुक्त जीवन के सर्वोच्च स्थिति पर सर्वोच्च पद पर स्थित है. Otherwise, the same activities performed without Krishna consciousness constitute ordinary bondage to the material world. लेकिन वही कार्य अगर कृष्ण भावना में नहीं है तो वो जो है इस संसार में बंधन का कारण बन जाते हैं। Thus, one should not misunderstand the exalted position of the Vrindavan, nor should one consider oneself highly religious simply because one performs ordinary domestic affairs very enthusiastically but without Krishna consciousness. इसीलिए एक व्यक्ति को, हम लोगों को वृंदावन वासी के बारे में कभी गलत फहमी नहीं होनी चाहिए, और हमें कोई भी ऐसे व्यक्ति जो बहुत बड़े बड़े धार्मिक अनुष्ठानों को करता है उस अपने घर गृहस्थ को चलाने के लिए, वो अगर कृष्ण भावनामृत में नहीं है तो हमें उसे बड़ा कुछ नहीं मानना चाहिए। By focusing our passionate attachment on our family and society, we are completely deviated from the progressive path of Krishna consciousness. तो अगर हम अपने ध्यान को अपने घर के प्रति आसक्ति, घर और समाज के प्रति आसक्ति में लगाते हैं, तो हम भक्ति के मार्ग से विमुख हो जाते हैं। Conversely, if we engage our family in the loving service of the Lord, our endeavors to maintain our family become part and parcel of our progressive duty. लेकिन अगर हम अपने परिवारजनों को भगवान की प्रेम में सेवा में लगाते हैं, तो हम जो उनका पालन कर रहे हैं वो भी हमारे आध्यात्मिक जो कर्तव्य है उसका एक हिस्सा बन जाती है। In conclusion, by studying the extraordinary status of the residents of Vrindavan, we can see that the essential quality of their lives is pure Krishna consciousness. तो हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि जो वृंदावन वासी के जो लोग हैं वहाँ पर, उन सब उनकी मूलभूत जो आधार है, उनका जो जीवन है वो शुद्ध कृष्ण भावनामृत में स्थित है। Mainly the rendering of loving service to the Lord without a trace of material desire or a mental speculation. तो उनके मन में कनिक भी मौलिक इच्छा नहीं है। Such loving service to the original personality of God individually creates the atmosphere of Sri Vrindavan Dham, the kingdom of God. ये जो प्रेम में भावना है भगवान की सेवा के प्रति, वही जो है कोई भी किसी को वृंदावन बना सकती है।
It's so nice, you see, when we are not Krishna conscious, then the senses and the mind are like thieves. You want to chant. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then the mind comes and say, oh, think of this one and think of that one. What about that? And what about this? Mind is looking here, mind is looking there. And hello. You're becoming distracted by a material mind. He's a thief. He takes our spiritual life away. The senses and the mind, they're the number one thieves in our spiritual life. But if they're engaged in Krishna consciousness, they're not thieves at all. They become helpful. And all these activities like rearing children and rearing cows and making butter and cleaning the house and even making money, all these things, if they're done in Krishna consciousness, they're part of our spiritual Krishna conscious life. And the house becomes transformed into Krishna's house. And the prasadam becomes transformed by being offered to Krishna. It becomes Krishna prasadam, not bhoga. And ultimately our bodies become transformed also. They are not anymore part of the material world, but they become spiritualized. And in this way, even affection for children, you raise these children very affectionately, but the idea is to somehow or other introduce them to Krishna consciousness, to give them a chance. Like if some girl is pregnant, the best idea is, if she's a devotee, to read to the child in the womb, while she's in the womb, already Krishna book. They can hear from 7 months on.
तो साथ में मेडिटेशन सुन सकते हैं
And they become very peaceful. I know, I've personally experienced, not myself, but my wife.
तो ये सारे हमको अनुभव है पर्सनली लेकिन उन्होंने देखा है
They become very peaceful when they can hear right in the womb already and put on the pad.
तो वो लोग बहुत शांत हो जाते हैं जब वो अपने घर से कोई
And then you show them when they grow up, you listen, you talk to them about Bhagavatam, show them movies of Krishna, show them a movie of Ramayana. You just systematically train them towards Krishna.
तो बच्चों को सिस्टमैटिकली बहुत तरीके से धीरे-धीरे भगवान के नजर
So that they become devotees in this life.
और ताकि हम बन जाए
Then the whole, and you bring them to the temple.
तो खाना चाहिए
I have heard recently, when I was in Germany, there's so many Indian people coming to the temple.
तो उनको करने से बहुत सारे भारतवासी
They're all young people, they all come from IIT this or IIT that.
तो वो सब लोग बहुत नौजवान लोग हैं आईआईटी से पढ़ के आए हैं
Everyone is an engineer or an IT person.
तो उसमें सब लोग इंजीनियर या कोई आईटी
And I inquired, how come you come to the temple all the time?
तो कोई ने पूछा कि आप हम तो मंदिर क्यों आते हो
I said, well, we have done this from childhood on.
क्योंकि वो जो हम बचपन से करते हैं
We saw our parents going to the temple, and we went to the temple, and now we are still going to the temple.
तो हमने अपने माता-पिता को मंदिर जाते देखा हम मंदिर और
This is, this is the beauty of this culture, that people from childhood on, they turn to Krishna.
छुट्टी है कि ये बचपन से हमें सिखाया गया है
And therefore, Prabhupada needs just a match in the Indian culture to bring somebody to Krishna. It needs a match. You took these fires there, wood is there, good wood, you take a match,
तो बाबा ने अपनी जितनी दोनों जो है इसके लगते
you know, it is due to upbringing, due to culture.
ये संस्कृति और उनके परवरिश की वजह से हुआ है।
It's a Krishna conscious culture.
ये कृष्ण भगवान के
It's true that in this Krishna conscious culture there are many Griyamadis.
लेकिन ये कृष्ण
And Hollywood, Bollywood is an organization that spreads material life all over India.
जो हॉलीवुड बॉलीवुड की संस्थान है इन्होंने सारे भौतिक रूप को विस्तारित कर दिया है
And it completely destroys the culture of India.
और इसने भारत की संस्कृति को डुबा दिया
And so there are plenty materialistic people there. Some of our biggest industrialists in India, they don't give money to the temple.
तो बहुत बड़े उद्योगपति भी हैं भारत में जो मंदिर को काम देते हैं
No, they don't give money. They may open how do you say, an internet service
तो वो लोग इंटरनेट करने के लिए
so that everybody can go on the internet,
सब जो है इंटरनेट कर सकते हैं
but they don't give to the temple. They don't worship Krishna.
लेकिन वो भगवान की तरफ नहीं देते
They're Mudas.
वो लोग मूल है
Who says that? I say that.
क्या मैं कह रहा हूँ
No, Shankaracharya. Bhaja Govinda, Mudha Mate. And Krishna says, Namam Duski. I don't say that, but Krishna says, Namam Duski Tinu Mudha Prapadyanti Naradama. Mudas do not surrender to me.
तो कृष्ण
Why are people Mudas?
लोग मूल क्यों है
Because there is no, how do you say, piety there.
क्योंकि उनके जीवन में पुण्य करते हैं
How do you call piety in Hindi?
पुण्य
Punya. There's no punya. You know,
पुण्य नहीं होते
if the whole world is very little punya.
पूरे संसार में जिनके बहुत कम पुण्य है
Therefore, people are practically speaking, when it comes to spiritual life, they may be highly intelligent materially, but when it comes to spiritual life, they are buffaloes.
वो लोग भौतिक समाज में बहुत बड़े विद्वान होंगे लेकिन जब आध्यात्मिक बात आती है तो वो लोग बफेलो हो जाते हैं
No telephone in class, no telephone when you take prasadam also.
कौन सा उपयोग बंद करे जब आप साथ में बैठो या प्रसाद दे रहे हो
So this is the situation that most people, even in India, many people, they're buffaloes.
तो कोई बताए कि भारत में बहुत सारे लोग वो हैं।
I mean, I can see in my own family. One of my family members, he said, now I've completed my house, now I can die in peace.
तो जो रिश्तेदार है वो बोल रहे थे कि अब मैंने अपना घर संभाल लिया, अब मैं आराम से किसी को चलेगा।
He will not die in peace
लेकिन उसके साथ वो कभी किसी साथी नहीं आएगी।
because the house will be taken away
जब आप उसका घर किया जाएगा उसे,
and the money stays in the bank. He cannot take it with him.
तो जब पैसा जो है बैंक में रह जाएगा वो सब नहीं जाएगा।
But whatever we do for Krishna, Nehavikramanashusti Pratyana Vinavidyati, Svapamapyasya Dharmasya, Trayati Matubai, whatever we do for Krishna is never lost.
लेकिन जो भी हम कृष्ण के कार्य करते हैं वो कभी नहीं खत्म नहीं होता।
In this endeavor, there's no loss and diminution.
तो इस प्रयास में कोई भी प्रकार का
And even little progress can save a person from the greatest type of fear.
और थोड़ा सा प्रगति भी हमें बहुत बड़े देश में जा सकता है।
That's what Krishna says. Therefore, it is intelligent, most intelligent, is to worship Krishna.
इसीलिए जो सबसे बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति को भगवान कृष्ण के साथ करता
There was one devotee, young devotee. He just joined the temple in New York.
है। तो एक बहुत ही नौसिखा बच्चा जो न्यूयॉर्क में ज्वाइन करता है,
And he inherited a large amount of money
तो उसके पास बहुत सारा धन था
after joining.
ज्वाइन करने के बाद।
So he took this money and he went to the temple president and said, this is my entire inheritance.
तो वो टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट गया और बोले ये मेरी सारी संपत्ति है जो मुझे
And I give it to the temple if it is used for worshipping the deity.
मैं इस तभी मंदिर में दूंगा जब इसको भगवान की कुदरत की सेवा में लगाया जाए।
Next week is Ras Yatra.
और अगला हफ्ते रखा था,
It should be the most gorgeous Ras Yatra, decorated like anything.
तो वो बहुत ही सुंदर सा मंदिर और बहुत सुंदर सजाया गया था।
Temple president, all right, let's do that.
तो उन्होंने
So Srila Prabhupada arrived.
एक प्रॉपर जो
When he saw the three huge Rath cars decorated with so many flowers, unbelievable, wherever you look for flowers, Prabhupada said, how can you finance this?
तो जो प्रॉपर जो देखा इतना सुंदर रथ पूरा चारों तरफ भरे फूल फूल सजा है, प्रॉपर तुमने पैसा कहाँ से लाया, कितना से लाया?
The temple president says, one devotee Prabhupada, he just joined 2 weeks ago, and he made his inheritance. He said, use all this money for the glorification of Krishna, beginning with Rath Yatra.
तो उन्होंने बताया कि भक्त का जिसको अपनी संपत्ति मिली थी, संपत्ति मिली थी और उसने कहा था कि प्रॉपर में लगाना है।
Prabhupada said, did he give every penny?
प्रॉपर ने क्या उसने हर एक पैसा दे दिया?
Yes, he said he gave every penny.
तो कहा हाँ हमने पूरा एक पैसा दे
The
दिया।
Prabhupada said, that means he's very intelligent.
तो प्रॉपर ने कहा इसका मतलब है वो बहुत बुद्धिमान है।
Because he knew if he keeps it for himself, it's going to be destroyed.
तो प्रॉपर ने कि अगर वो अपने लिए रखता था तो वो पैसा को बर्बाद कर देता।
But if he gives it to Krishna, it's never going to be destroyed.
लेकिन अगर आप कृष्णा के लिए दिया तो वो कभी खत्म नहीं होगा।
It was the best investment.
ये सबसे बेस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट है।
There was one, I give you an example. There was one boy, a Jewish boy. I visited him in there was his temple in New York, no, in London, I think.
तो बताया एक जीवित बॉय था जिसको प्रॉपर्टी लैंड किए थे।
It was in Amsterdam.
एक्सीडेंट।
So I asked him, you are from a rich family.
तो ये इंडिया आपके बहुत धनी परिवार से।
How did you come to Krishna consciousness?
आप भक्ति में कैसे आए?
He said, it's very simple. I come from a big, old business family.
तो मैं बहुत पुराने व्यापारिक family से आ रहा हूँ।
And I know if you do business, my father told me, my grandfather, great, everybody knows, most of the time there's gain, but sometimes there's loss.
तो वो बताते कि मेरे सारे जो पूर्वज लोग जो बिजनेस करते आए हैं और बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कभी नुकसान भी होता है।
That's the nature of business.
ये बिजनेस का स्वभाव है।
Not you invest it, may not be always successful.
आप इन्वेस्टमेंट तो हमेशा सफलता में जरूरी है।
So he said, and one day I met a devotee,
तो एक बार उसने कहा एक दिन मुझसे मिला
and he wanted to sell me Bhagavad Gita.
और वो मुझे भगवत गीता दिखाया।
He said, what's in this book?
तो मैंने पूछा इसमें क्या
He
है?
said, everything you need to know.
तो जो भी तुमको जानना है वो इसमें है।
Show me one verse.
तो मैं दिखाऊंगा इसको।
And he showed him this verse, Nehavikrama, in this endeavor there's no loss. No loss.
उसने ये सब दिखाया इस प्रयास में कोई लॉस नहीं है।
He said, in every business there's loss.
तो मुझे पता था कि बिजनेस में कुछ लॉस होता है
In this business, Krishna said there's no loss. I will join this movement.
तो इसलिए उसको पूरा
And he became a devotee.
करो।
There are many ways to become a devotee. He became attracted by the idea. In this business, there is no loss. So, in any way, the point is that the devotees, they're using all the so-called impediments of material life for their spiritual elevation, actually for the love of Krishna.
तो जो भक्त लोग हैं वो अपने जीवन में जो भी उनके बाधा चीजें हैं उनको भी भगवान के जीवन में लगाते हैं।
So whatever you have, whatever you know, use it for Krishna.
जो भी आपके पास है, जो भी आप जानते हैं सबको भगवान के
If you have some time, use it for Krishna.
आपका समय है, भगवान के
Some money, use it for Krishna.
आपका धन है, भगवान के
If you have some intelligence, use it for Krishna.
आपका बुद्धि है,
There's so many devotees we have.
हमारे पास बहुत सारे भक्त हैं।
Somehow they understood this simple principle that Krishna, it's not that I got the money. Krishna actually gave me this money. Krishna gave me health. Krishna gave me an intelligent body. Krishna gave me a healthy body. It should be used in Krishna's service.
तो जो भक्त है उसकी क्या धारणा है कि भगवान ने मुझे धन दिया, भगवान ने बुद्धि दी, भगवान ने अपना शरीर दिया, मुझे उसकी सेवा में लगाना है।
Otherwise, you lose it.
नहीं तो हम उसको देंगे।
You work very hard for it, but you lose everything you have at the time of death.
तो हम उसके बहुत मेहनत कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम उसके लिए हम सब कुछ खो देंगे।
Because the last church, when people, at least in Europe, people, they put people in a suit before they die. The last church has no pockets.
तो जो लास्ट सूट पहना जाता है अमेरिका में मरने से पहले उसमें पॉकेट नहीं होता
And the money will stay in the bank.
और जो पैसा है वो बैंक में जाता है।
You cannot take it with you.
आपके साथ जाए
And all your prosperity will go to hell.
आपकी सारी धन संपत्ति वो नरक में जाती है।
That means if somebody is very rich and he doesn't use his money for Krishna, that means he is not a small fool, he's a big fool.
तो अगर किसी व्यक्ति बहुत धन और भगवान से नहीं लगा रहा तो छोटा फूल बहुत बड़ा फूल रखती है।
It is foolishness not to use one's qualities for Krishna.
तो ये मूर्खता है अपनी अपने धन को भगवान को नहीं लगाना।
And so the whole messages of this verse, the gopis, there's another, let me just read, there's another, oops, here. There's another statement of Prabhupada in this direction. One second.
एक और व्याख्या है प्रपंच बता रहे हैं।
It is said that attachment for material objects and the home is due to illusion.
ये बताया गया है कि हमारी आसक्ति हमारे घर के प्रति वो मोह के कारण है।
Which makes the living entity conditioned to the material world.
तो इसके वजह से एक व्यक्ति बद्ध हो जाता है संसार में।
The more people money they have, the more we become irreligious.
तो जितना ज्यादा धन वाला लोग उतना ज्यादा वो मोह में फंस जाता है।
And but this is not the case for persons in Krishna consciousness.
लेकिन ये एक कृष्ण भावना को भक्ति नहीं होता है।
In the case of the residents of Vrindavan, such obstruction as attachment to hearth, home, and the rest are non-existing.
तो वृंदावन वासी के जो लोग हैं उनके अंदर ये आसक्ति नहीं है अपने घर और परिवार के प्रति।
Because they are in love with Krishna.
क्योंकि वो भगवान के साथ अत्यंत प्रेम करते हैं।
This is the point. They attract to the love of Krishna.
क्योंकि वो भगवान के प्रेम से आकर्षित हो जाते हैं।
Like take a mother, for example.
एक माँ के
Even the most materialistic mother in this world will always love the child.
तो एक बहुत ही धर्मी और भक्ति वाली माँ भी जो है वो अपने बच्चे से प्रेम करती है।
That's normal.
ये सामान्य है।
The child cries at night, mother will get up and feed him.
तो अगर बच्चा रात को होता है तो माँ जो है वो उसको खिलाती है।
Child may pass in his pants.
तो जो बच्चा है वो अपने वॉच कर देता है पैर में।
But it is a child.
लेकिन तो बच्चा है
The mother will love him.
तो जो माँ है उसको फिर प्रेम करती है।
When I was 2 years old, or less, 1 year old,
तो कोई साल जब वो एक साल के थे
I passed urine into the mouth of my sister.
तो प्रभु ने अपनी बहन के मुंह में पेशाब कर दिया था।
My mother was washing my body and drying my body, and my sister was standing there, and very expertly I passed urine into her mouth.
तो वही लोग जाति को बताया कि सिस्टर को किसी तरीके और माँ उनका पता करती है उन्होंने
And everybody loved it.
सब लोग हंस रहे थे।
How do I know it? Because they told me.
मुझे इससे पता किसी ने बताया।
You can pass urine into the mouth of your sister if you're a baby, but if you do this now, with 85 years or 87 years, you'll be on the internet.
तो ये कह रहे हैं आप जब एक साल बच्चे का पेशाब करते हैं तो अभी आप करोगे
right? You see, so we have to use our life, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this nice formula. Manasadeo, my mind, my body, Manasadeo Geo, my Grihasta Ashram, Yogi Chomo, whatever I have, Apilon Tua Pari, Nanda Kishore. I do this for Krishna. Like, for example, take study. Study may be very boring. But you do it in the Krishna consciousness. You do this so that I be able to maintain a family. Why do I want to maintain a family? Because to raise my children in Krishna consciousness. The whole boring study becomes devotional service. I remember when I was a young boy, I went to college. And in my holidays, I had to make some money. So the easiest job you can get in Germany without any qualification is you just go to a building site. Building site. So, but I had read some book, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So in the Karma Yoga section, the yogi, whoever wrote that book, he said, whatever you do, you can do for God. Any activity can be linked up with Krishna. So I had not joined the movement yet. I didn't even know that Krishna is God. But I would put every brick into the barrel for God. And then I would carry all the cement upstairs for God. And so all day I was engaged in God's service. And I was always smiling because I was very happy that I had a service. I was living in the kingdom of God. I felt very happy. So the workers told me, said, why are you so happy all the time? I told them, I love this work. How can you love this work? We hate this work. What's your secret? And I told them, I cannot tell you. Because they wouldn't be able to understand. Right? You don't throw pearls before swine. There's a saying in the Bible, don't throw pearls before swine. And as soon as they know this, they will laugh at you and go, right? They make fun out of you. So, but the thing is, after the holidays were over, at that time, I found out about Krishna. And I joined after 3 days. And the temple president said, and do you have any money? I said, yes. He said, you should give it to Krishna. And I said, that makes sense. I've worked for Krishna, now I give him the money. It was the first thing I did in my Krishna conscious movement, besides distributing books. So I must stop now. Do you have any questions? Yes? And how devotees should deal with each other. Mango. What
happens that in devotee community, we compare everything relative. Even unripe, but raw mango is also good. What happens when we go, even when we compare devotees against outsiders, definitely they are very good. But those who don't go out, we don't compare outsiders. We compare with insiders, then there is always a problem. Then we start criticizing, comparing. So how to deal with this? Second was this Prithu. Acha. He was ordered by Brahmaji to create progeny. Brahmaji was ordered by Krishna to do the creation. So, Daksha is doing his service to Lord. So when he becomes angry at Narada, Narada is operating his service. So how can Daksha be wrong when he becomes angry at Narada? How Narada should
Say, Lord, my dear Lord Nityananda, I'm a big fool. I have this problem.